Hi, HSPs. Nice to see you. I'm Julie Bieland. And if you pop on, click like and let me know you're here and where you guys are from. Where are you from? Doing a Facebook Live, did not plan this. It just jumped on, and I wanted to talk about overwhelm today because over and over again, I am seeing and talking to so many HSPs around the world that are suffering with overwhelm. This overwhelming feelings are really holding us back in life from what I can see. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So I'm a psychotherapist and I specialize in the trait of sensitivity and high sensitivity. So being a highly sensitive person means you have a trait that's scientifically known as sensory processing sensitivity. And what's happening a lot is that HSPs are experiencing so much overload and overwhelm. If you think about why that is, it's helpful to understand yourself about your brain and why you experience things in a different way. Because remember, you know, you're different than 80% of the population. And what I've also found is those that score really high on the HSP scale, the 27 questions that Elaine Aron developed, anybody that scores really high on that, like myself, I'm a 27, and I've actually been talking to a lot of HSPs lately who are in the higher scale. HSPs that are interested in learning about my brain training program tend to be in those high numbers because we actually suffer quite a bit in that area. So I would not be able to do what I do if I had not done my own form of brain training. So that's important. I see we got a few people on here. And for those of you watching the replay or just popping on a little bit late, I'm going to put the replay link in there as well for you guys to watch this. I want to talk a little bit about overwhelm today. So click like if you're here. Where are you guys from? Where are you listening from? We're talking about the trait of high sensitivity and overwhelm. So what I'm seeing when I'm talking to, it's been interesting because I've started a new brain training program where I'm really involved. So I actually talk to everybody before they even join the program. So I've been talking with people from all over the world, and it's just coming up over and over again about overwhelm. People that are maybe they want to change their job. They're not happy in their job, but they're so overwhelmed that they can't imagine kind of taking those steps to get a new job. Or maybe I've heard about, fear of flying, feeling too overwhelmed to travel, overwhelming experiences in parenting. That comes up a lot. Whose parents? Oh, hey there, Jacqueline from Toronto. Nice to see you. And if you're here, pop on and say hi. Tell me where you're from. It's fun to interact with you guys. So how many of you that are listening are parents and experience being overwhelmed? A lot of times we don't realize that we're experiencing a lot of sensory overload when we have children, young children especially. And that's something that can hold us back from being the kind of parent we want to be. I was just talking to a doctor yesterday who was interested in my course and my program, and she was saying that, she's doing great in her career, but when she gets home, she feels really overwhelmed with her young children, and she's not being able to be the kind of parent she wants to be. So that's what overwhelm does. It's a little bit like having our emotional brain gets too activated in an HSP. And when that happens, the cognitive brain is starting to go to sleep. And that's when we get really overwhelmed. I also had a client contact me yesterday talking about, she had been crying for a couple of days over something about her relationship. And she hadn't really realized that she was just trapped in her emotional brain, and just being able to talk through what she was experiencing was part of turning on that cognitive brain for her, and she was able to feel a lot better. And there's methods to do that, and I think that it's just my mission in life that HSPs know that there's things that you can do that really make a difference, and you don't have to suffer so much with the overwhelm. I get it though, because that's how I used to feel too before I did my own form of training. So great, we got a lot of people here. I love it. Elena from Italy, wonderful. Oh, nice to meet you too, Jacqueline. Kimberly Ann from California. Yeah, you're saying that's one of the, I hear that a lot, that HSP is talking about not sure if they can even have children because they worry about the overwhelm. And especially if you're up there in the high numbers, it's really essential to learn some of these techniques. And some of the reasons why I'm finding them be so successful is because they're developed for the HSP brain. And that's important to understand. There's things that we can do. So if what's happening, what I'm seeing happening in the HSP a lot is the sense of when that overactivation of the emotional brain, deactivation of the cognitive brain, that's when we start to get really overwhelmed. I used to even get that way walking into a restaurant, or like one of those restaurants where you have to walk up to the counter and order something and there's a line and it's moving fast and everybody wants you to order quickly. That kind of stuff used to overwhelm me. So tell me, guys who are listening, what kind of stuff overwhelms you, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Jacqueline, you're grateful that you're saying, so grateful you are bringing this forward. You're doing such a good service to others. Well, thank you. That means a lot and touches my heart, and I appreciate that. This has become my mission and my passion in life, because I used to suffer like this. And what I know about HSPs is we want to live a life with fulfillment and meaning and help others. And what I get so sad about is that we are so overwhelmed that it's almost like covering up all the gifts. And we need to lift up that overwhelm so that we can get down in there and share the gifts with the world. And that's what I love working with HSPs. I get to see them bloom and blossom, because it's really fascinating about the HSP brain is that you can particularly activate centers intentionally in the brain that are more calming. And when we do that, we deactivate the centers that are causing that overwhelm. So there's real things that you can do to make it better. I would not be doing all the work that I do, writing my books, working with HSPs globally. As a 27 out of 27, I would not be able to do those things. And I used to be someone that suffered a lot from anxiety, so I get it. A lot of HSPs, especially in those high numbers, are suffering like that. Yeah. So if you guys are listening and you want to talk about anything that you get overwhelmed by, we can talk about that a little bit. And if you're popping on to say hi, tell me where you're from. Even when you're watching the replay, write in the comments, because I come back and I check the comments, and I'd love to hear from you guys. What are you experiencing in terms of overwhelm? What's hard for you that you've observed? We talked about travel, and I had somebody in my course who was afraid of flying, and she was able to use techniques within the couple of weeks of the course that she could get on that plane, and I was so proud of her. And she was like, that's the calmest I've ever been on a plane, and I was really, really proud of her. And so another person in my course, she wants to start, living her life for her in an authentic way, even learning about what she likes in life. She lived for 30 years with anxiety and is now, working on making those changes in her life so she can finally enjoy it. You guys deserve that so much, and I want that for you, because what I absolutely know for a fact is when an HSP is centered and balanced and well, we go out there and make the world a better place. That's what you guys do. That's what we do as HSPs. We're kind and compassionate and caring people. So anybody that is really, if you're listening to this live or in the replay, I'm going to put a link to book a call with me. If you want to talk about your own overwhelm and learn about my brain training program that can help you. And if it doesn't, I'll point you in the right direction of some other things that can help you. So I want you guys to know that it gets better. And you don't have to be suffering from overwhelm and anxiety so much as an HSP. There are so many tools out there. I've written books about it. Check out my resources page. And there's so much information out there for you to support you through this. And I just want you guys to know that. So thought I'd pop on and say hi, and just let you know that you're not alone in experiencing overwhelm, but also that you don't have to suffer. I really want you guys to know that. I love hearing from my readers of my books and just telling me about how some of the methods and things that I talk about have really influenced them and helped their life. So thanks for being here, guys. I did not plan this again, and I just popped on. I've been kind of thinking that's kind of fun to just pop on and surprise you guys. So I'll put the replay up for everybody that wasn't able to be here for the whole thing. And just know that there are particular things you can do. One of those things is that you have to learn about prioritizing your own needs. That is something that most HSPs, the needs are on the bottom of the list. We need to put them up there. And first of all, we need to even get to know what they are. So I've noticed that when I work with a lot of HSPs, some of the first things we work on is, what do you like? What's important to you? And it's almost as if we haven't been paying as much attention to that because we tend to be pretty externally focused on other people's needs. And if we're dumping out our whole glass of energy every day for everyone else and not saving it for ourselves as well, that's another thing that's going to cause overwhelm. We want to keep those tanks full. We're recommending 2 hours of alone time per day for HSPs to process. And I talk about that in some of my other videos, my books and stuff, about how do you actually restore as an HSP rather than just rest, because there's a difference between rest and restoration. You want to actually do both. And you also have to do brain processing time because you're taking in so much information. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. Thanks for being here with me, guys. I love it when you pop on. Yes. So thanks for being here. I pop on a lot to answer questions. Let me know, contact me if you guys have particular questions you want to have me talk about. And I'm going to put in my link to book a call with me and talk about how you can live without overwhelm as an HSP, even if you are extremely overwhelmed a lot. We can fix that. We can make that better. So I just want you guys to know that. So take care of yourselves. Thanks for being here. And we will talk soon. Bye, everybody.